So you've decided, in your infinite wisdom, to pick up Warframe, the long-standing MMO where ninjas play free. You've had your choice between Swordman, Black Witch Lancer's grandfather, and Lightning McQueen. You've learned, mostly, their ins and outs, and you're ready to expand your collection. The question is, who? There are over 50 Warframes to choose from, and the investment required can be arduous. This series aims to help you new Tenno on your journey across the Origin system. Today, we start with the most accessible Lootframe, Nekros, and why you should get him. There are 4 ways to obtain Nekros in either normal or prime variety. Starting from the preferred method, you can get the base parts from Magnasidium, is an assassination mission on Deimos against Lephantis. Now, I highly advise doing this in a group as it can be a long fight, especially with certain loadouts this early on. Now, you may notice the footage playing right now is a little different. I did a solo run with roughly the same equipment I had at the time of my first time solo run of Lephantis. I have a full recording of this posted for your viewing pleasure. Double reminder, do not do this. Here are the drop tables. Expect a little bit of farming.
Assassination contract complete. Great work, Tenno.
The second and third methods are for the prime frame. You can grind out the relics associated with Nekros if they are in Resurgence. Ideally for these, you would find a Radiant Share Party, or a Rad Share, which is a party with matching Radiant tier relics to farm for specific components, usually the rare ones. This ensures more rolls on the same loot table, making for a faster catch. Of course, if you're unlucky, it won't be much faster than doing it solo.
What? No, dude!
The third option is to buy the prime parts or a set on the market. Now, there's a good chance that when you happen to see this video, Nekros isn't in Resurgence. So your best bet is to purchase what you need on the market, whether that is finding it in trade chat or using Warframe Market to connect to a seller. This is preferred to the next method as it gets you the prime version and may actually be cheaper. The final and least recommended option is buying them on the in-game store. You can get him, but he's overly priced at 375 platinum. You'd be better off just buying the prime version off the market. Now, onto our edgy skinny Jesus of a frame proper. Nekros features a strong utility kit that can be used in a wide variety of situations. His passive heals him for 5 health for every enemy death within 10 meters. It's not a massive heal, but it can help you in a pinch, especially if you enjoy melee or close range combat. And additionally, this ties in very well with one of his augments, the Spoil, which we will get into later. His first active ability is Soul Punch, a hit scan attack that turns an enemy into a projectile that ragdolls staggerable enemies. It also marks the first target for a short while, and if they die, they come back as an ally. And if you have the maximum amount of allies you can have at one time, it heals the existing ones instead. I'll talk more about that part when it's time for his fourth ability. Soul Punch, as you can hopefully see, is a very versatile ability that can be effective as long as you apply its unique traits. Terrify is his second ability, and it's a radial crowd control. Upon use, all enemies within range will become scared and run away, while also having their armor value cut. This is a reliable get-off-me tool and a helpful debuff for the team, though it isn't something you should spam at least not from the get-go. The crown jewel of his kit is his third, Desecrate. It is a toggle ability that can consume a dead body to roll on its drop table. There's about a 50% chance that you can get a reroll. This is an amazing ability as it gives you another chance at loot and helps maintain your health and energy as well as your team's. Finally, we have Shadows of the Dead, which brings a number of enemies you've killed back to life, while healing the existing shadows if you already have the maximum amount. This ability ties in with the secondary effect of Soul Punch. The shadows produced by these abilities bring back an exact copy, whether that be from Soul Punch's mark, or from enemies you've already killed prior to casting of the ability. The shadows slowly lose health over time, so they aren't permanent, but you can sustain them with extra casts of these abilities. Shadows of the Dead is a massive boon for keeping pace with mission scaling and solo defenses. So why do I think you should get Nekros? The biggest point is Desecrate. It is such a nice ability for the utility it provides. Want to keep your team supplied? Desecrate provides more health, energy, and ammo drops. Farming for materials? Desecrate gives you more material drops. It even works on mission-specific drops, like power carrier cells and life support capsules. Because of this, people would want to have a Nekros around, as anyone playing them will at least always be beneficial with Desecrate on. Not only that though, Desecrate stacked with a lot of other Lootframe abilities, meaning even more rolls on the table. He's also very good for solo content. Whenever you're outgunned, you can summon help or turn that nasty Eximus into a boss long enough for you to pop a Terrify and catch a breath. Because the shadows use the enemy's level scaling, they will always be useful. You'll always have backup that can go toe-to-toe with the enemy so long as you get a couple kills under your belt. Later on, when you unlock the helmet for subsuming, which sacrifices a Warframe to unlock an ability for any Warframe to use, you can subsume Nekros for Terrify, which is nice for crowd control oriented playstyles. But I think the crowning jewel of it all is how easy and accessible Nekros is. If you're looking to gain the benefits of a Lootframe, most others need an augment mod, which demands you have the appropriate syndicate maxed out, or buy the mod for platinum. Nekros comes out of the box with a loot drop ability and takes no extra effort to pilot him. That's why you should get Nekros. Thank you for watching my guide on why you should get Nekros. Before I leave you all, I'm going to drop a few tips to improve your Nekros gameplay out the gate. We'll start with Desecrate tips. Desecrate works on bisected corpses, providing more loot, which is what every Nekros wants to hear. So to maximize this, you should use slash weapons that dismember easily, like swords or Breton Prime. He also has a augment mod called Despoil, which I mentioned earlier. Despoil drains health instead of energy, which is more efficient in the long run. You should keep an eye out for nullifiers, as they do cancel out Desecrate. It happens all the time on Void Relic missions, where you get clipped by the edge of the bubble and suddenly there's less drops on the ground. Be mindful so you don't lose out on loot. Keep in mind this also applies if you fall out of bounds. Onto some tips for Shadows of the Dead. Be mindful when you use it in a group, as it has a potential to tank your team's performance, which can lead to unintended consequences like a DC and host migration. Now, I haven't personally experienced this for myself, but there are rumblings around the community, so stay vigilant. Also, the list of dead enemies draw from your kills alone, so make sure you secure some bodies if your team is wiping the board without you. The list resets when you die as well, so be ready to get some kills when you revive. Finally, make sure your energy color is not yellow or a neutral color like white or black. The shadows use that color to differentiate themselves from enemies, and those colors make it much harder for your average player to notice. Yellow specifically applies to missions with Orican enemies, which applies to Void Relic missions. Regarding shadows, let's talk about a tip for Soul Punch. It has an execute threshold of 25%. So if you spawn enemies on death's door, you can simply recruit them on the spot or turn them into mulch for your shadows. Lastly, I leave you with some general build advice. The mod Equilibrium is a must-have if you don't have Despoil, as it solves the energy drain issue from Desecrate, which keeps the loot train rolling. And when building for Nekros' abilities, you want to build for range and efficiency specifically. As the wider your Desecrate is, the less running around you gotta do to get the procs, and the less energy you waste, the better. And that wraps us up. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Feel free to like and subscribe.